Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt. Welcome back to Farlands or Bust. We are back with the high-pitched woof of Wolfie, the Wolfie Woof, as we exit the hidey hole from the last episode and cover it up. Make sure we have no visitors whilst we are gone, and we will continue on to those far lands to the west. Here in Minecraft Beta 1.7.3 in episode 427. Today is Tuesday, December 16th, 2014. Tuesday, Kurt. I thought Tuesday episodes were rare and random, but no. They are becoming more frequent than I want them to be. Missed yesterday's recording and episode. As you may have noticed, I posted up on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. Why are you not following me on Twitter? Where's my voice going? Oh, welcome back to the land of the living. And follow me on Twitter, KurtJMac on Twitter. If you do declare that you need to keep up to date, that's gonna hurt. Yep, thought that was gonna hurt. Careful, Wolfie. Careful, Wolfie. Careful, Wolfie. Just spawn down here, Wolfie. What do you... Oh, of course. Of course you would have just walked right down the plank. What is... Gosh darn it. I was doing just great and dandy right before I was recording, and all of a sudden my voice is like, oh, your job entails talking for extended periods of times. Here, have a frog. But anyway, yeah, we're looking for pigs. Pigs are on the menu. But also, we missed yesterday's episode. Apologies for that. Still trying to get back into the sorts of things. But let's talk about that in a minute, because I do want to update you on our Child's Play charity fundraiser over at... Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Perhaps I should have just skipped today as well, because I am just screwing up royally here. At farlandsorbust.com, you can donate to Child's Play charity. We're up to $16,450.90 of our $50,000 goal for this season 5 of Farlands or Bust. Keep doing that. You get toys, books, games to kids in hospitals around the world. Great cause. You can learn more specifically about Child's Play charity at childsplaycharity.org. Ooh. So yeah, I'm just, gosh, I gotta say, if you wonder why people don't move, I am Exhibit A. Exhibit. I'll pimp my ride. No, Exhibit A is, it's just, you get discombobulated, so discombobulated. Gosh, and it's frustrating. And I'm not like, it's not being frustrated at anyone or at myself, or do I have a boat? I have a boat. Or anything like that. It's just the general unease, I suppose, of having nothing on the walls still, no shelves to put things on, and just being, like I said, out of combobulation. I am not bobulated at all. And I think it just gets really frustrating. And it's tough to get back into the swing of things, and then you're like, oh god, why did I even bother to move? And blah, it's just a spiral of loathing and self-contempt, self-loathing. That was the word I was looking for. But trying to get all right, trying to do better here. Getting Farlands episode up on Tuesday. Hopefully, maybe tomorrow on Wednesday we'll have another Farlands episode, and we'll get back on the Monday, Wednesday, Friday thing. The holidays don't help either. Perhaps it was a poor time to move, but the holidays don't help either, because those tend to decombobulate you as well. And I am going to be decombobulated around the Christmas as well, because there's going to be family in town, and that's a good thing. It's good to see family, and I will need to entertain and spend time with them. So there will perhaps maybe I should pre-record a bunch of stuff. You know how often I do that. But so yeah, I know everybody's like, oh, take your time getting back. I know how hard moving is, and blah 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 blah. Pigs. But I still don't want to. I don't want to. What's the word I'm looking for? Squander this opportunity, and the simple fact that I get to do what I do for a living. It feels like both wasted time and you know, both wasting my own time in what I should be using to make videos, but also I don't want to waste your guys' time with a lack of content, or perhaps subpar content. Oh, these pigs were very fruitful. They had fruit. Oh, that's east. Okay, here's west. But then also it just yeah, it's the YouTubers. What's the word I'm looking for? The YouTubers curse, maybe, that oh, just, you know, the more you do, the better you seem like you're doing, and it better makes you feel, and obviously the more money you make too through the advertising revenue. But on the flip side, one little link in the chain breaks, and then the whole bicycle falls apart underneath you. Careful of a So yeah, we're trying to get back, and I know people are like, okay, take your time, be cool, man, just be cool. But it's still inside feels bad, and even just in general, like I mentioned before, I feel better when I record. Like, I was really, say, 20 minutes ago, I was really in a dark and dangerous place in my mind. Not dangerous, but just, I was just really like, oh, the world stinks. I got my first cable and internet bill, and it's more than the guy quoted me online, so now I gotta call them up and deal with that, and I just don't want to deal with it, whatever, I'll just pay the extra money, and it's just a horrible instance, a horrible thing indeed. But right now, as I'm recording, despite the whole voice thing, what the heck, man? My voice is a man. Despite the whole voice thing, now that I'm actually recording, I'm like, yay, farlands, green grass, a wolf wearing 3D glasses. You know, it's much, it's very uplifting. It is now become my outlet. You know, I suppose like people who exercise or do yoga or, I don't know, have other sorts of hobbies. When they're doing their hobbies, they feel great. But if they miss a class or even a week of whatever they do, they're like completely not themselves anymore. I suppose I can feel the same way about making YouTube videos, making videos on the YouTube. So this is a similar theme I've mentioned many times before, and sorry for bringing it back up again, but we're trying to get back up onto the horse, onto the bicycle, or whatever the analogy I just made back there was. And Forza Horizon, a new version of Kerbal Space Program just came out, and I don't want to like overexcite people who are very overexcitable, but I really want to try that out. At least I don't know if it's going to become a full 100-episode series, but at least to pick it up and pick it up, beep ba da ba da ba. Oh man, and pick that back up and at least get say a few new syllables about it, and like, I was going through my playlist the other day, and I'm like, oh, Eidolon. I played like 2 episodes of Eidolon. I want to keep playing that. That's a cool little relaxing game. And I still have my list of like 30 or so other indie games that are no longer like new releases. I gotta go back and I want to at least do some one-off videos on. And of course, there's the vlog channel I want to get up and running. I've got the fancy pants camera. I suppose I could start recording before I get my like a nice microphone or any sort of lighting situation, but we're gonna start doing that. That's going to be nerve-wracking, and I just hope once again that as I get more and more used to that, as the months go on, then it will, just like making gaming videos, it will be one of those things where I start to do out of just habit and enjoyment, and if I don't make a vlog or something like that, then I'll start to feel weird. So hopefully that turns. So I'm just venting. I apologize. It's a venti episode. The vents are open. The air is flowing. The hot air is flowing. It's definitely hot air, and we are continuing on to the far lands. That's what this is. It's a walk-a-thon, but also we are just it's like going on a hike with a friend, and you chat whilst hiking and whatnot. So that's what this is about. It's therapy. That's what it is. Oh man, but yeah, the sun's gonna set. We'll get ourselves combobulated or bobulated or ovulated or whatever it is, and then we'll answer some questions. Got a ton of good questions from patrons. Maybe we'll go down that list as we continue in the morning. And a bobulation-ness. Bobulation. Zombulation. Zomble bobbles. Indeed. All right, we've got some questions here. I asked last episode or a couple episodes ago, I asked my patrons on Patreon to ask questions. So I got quite a few of those. There's still a few coming in, so I've got them down on the list here underneath the donor questions here, the Child's Play charity donation questions. I'm still going to get to those. But let's go through some of these. There's some pretty quick ones we can get through here. With, let's get the blocks on your bar, Kurt. First time playing Minecraft. What's wrong with you? Let's get through some of these Patreon questions. And I'm sorry, there's so many of them. My notepad is scrolled down and I can't read them all. Back to game. Saving level. Yes, thank you. Back to game. We have a few questions here in the same vein of things. There was a donor to Child's Play charity who says, would you ever consider getting a pet? If so, what would it be? And then Rosie, Axel Rosie, that is, on Patreon, asks, did you put any more thought into the puppy project? I mentioned I was considering and had, before the move, looked into getting a real-life four-legged companion, a dog. I mentioned how I do like the kind of the herding breeds. I'm particularly fixated for whatever reason on the Australian cattle dogs. They're not small, but they're medium smallish, depending. I would look for a smaller one. I don't really need I'm not a fan of big dogs, like giant dogs. They just they take up too much space. They seem like they would be a handful to handle. And so I'm looking at Australian cattle dogs, Australian shepherds too, shepherd dogs, kind of. Speaking of like herding dogs, corgis are cool, and they're all the rage on the internet right now. But they're a little bit small for me, although I have seen some cattle dog corgi mixes that are like, that's perfect. So obviously the puppy project, as Rosie has deemed it, it went on hiatus there, along with myself, with the move, because it would be really not cool to adopt a dog and then be like, hello dog, get used to this place for a month, and now we're going to move to a completely different place entirely. Totally screw up your whole, the time it takes you to get used to a new family and whatnot. Woof, yeah, I know, Wolfie knows. He's like, yeah, that'd be crazy. What's wrong with you, guy? So I put that on hiatus. So now in the new area, I know in the last episode I talked about cars and car shopping. I will admit, I probably spend more time on Pet Finder than I do on Auto Trader or car search sites. So we see where our priorities are there. Although that's one of the things. If I get a dog, I probably need a new car that can... A compact two-door Cavalier, although it would work, is probably not the ideal dog owner car. Usually it's a hatchback or a wagon or something that the dog can just jump in the back or whatever. Is generally the agreed upon automotive choice dog owners everywhere. But yeah, I have rekindled the search. I have taken a look at a few. Almost got bit by one. That was kind of an unfortunate situation. I went to a shelter. It was like one of the county shelters. Because there was a Australian cattle dog there that was surrendered by their owners because they had to move, or I'm not sure what exactly happened. Of course, on Pet Finder, on the listing, they say, oh, it's trained and blah, 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 and does well in the house and stuff like that, but it did not adjust well to being suddenly thrust into a shelter and was being very defensive, and, you know, he was in the cage still. They were still keeping him in the cage, which I suppose would have been a warning, but, you know, you put your hand up, the backside of your hand up towards the fence to try to be like, hello, smell my scent, and he tried to bite me instead, so I'm like, all right, not getting this dog, hello. That's a shame. So that's kind of more just like a sad thing, like, oh, the owners who had him for 3 or 4 years suddenly decide they had to move somewhere that they couldn't have him or whatever, and so they just hand him over to a shelter. It's like, that's not the way you do things. But it is still ongoing. We'll probably need to wait till the new year before any of that goes on, for sure. Just because, like I said, it's still discombobulated, so it continues. I would definitely like to get a dog. Yeah, you're fine. You're still here in the far lands of Busterworld. And no, I will not be naming it Wolfie or something. that wouldn't be appropriate. But we'll see. It is an ongoing project. Although sometimes kind of put it on the back burner. Because there are many other fires that are constantly having to be put out. So thank you very much for that question, both the anonymous donor and Rosie, Axel Rosie. Liz asks if I've caught up on the new Doctor Who, and what do I think? I have not. Haven't watched a single episode of the new series of the Doctor Who. I just have either not been in the mood, or I have not had the ability to. Don't have the BBC channel, despite being overcharged for the cable package I got. And it's I just haven't found time to, and I'm not really interested. I've been watching other shows. What show have I watched? I went through a lot of Netflix. I went through and watched the House of Cards series all the way through. I'm catching up on Mad Men. I watched Mad Men like a couple years ago, and then I just kind of stopped watching because I stopped getting interested in it. But then I realized, like, well, the show's going to end soon, so I'll go through and watch the latest series on what's on Netflix. So I've caught up to now what everything is on Netflix, and yes, I understand now that the last season was kind of like where everybody started to lose interest, which is why they've probably decided to end the show. But I watched that through. It's kind of like, hey, okay, that's there. Can't remember what else I watched. But regardless, the moral of the story is I have not watched a single episode of the Peter Capaldi era of Doctor Who. I hear very, very mixed things about it, so I'm really in no rush, to be honest. So thanks for that question. Herr Bucket asks, can you solve a Rubik's Cube? No, I cannot. Never have. Attempted to, but my attention span is not there, so nope, never solved the Rubik's Cube. Joe asks, how do you feel about Pluto being demoted as a dwarf planet? I think it was the right decision. Especially since the discovery of other objects that are bigger even than Pluto. It's either we create a new classification of planets, or we end up having, 17 planets in our solar system, because then you're going to start to want to have like Ceres and what's the other one like out there in the Oort cloud? There's a bunch of them. Spherical, planetoid, small, astronomical bodies that are out there. So yeah, I think it works. It works for me. I know people get very attached to things, but for scientifically speaking, sure, dwarf planet. It's a whole new classification of awesome objects out there for us to explore and whatnot. And speaking of exploring them, got another question from a patron. Are you planning on watching any live stream NASA might do during the New Horizons Pluto flyby, which, as I correctly stated before, is July 2015. How about we do another one of those live streams where we watch on Twitch, like I did with the Curiosity landing? Yeah, I'm not sure. Ooh, I just pressed F. Ooh, it's getting cloudy and foggy. There we go. Yeah, well, we'll see about that. I'm not sure how well that works particularly, but hey, how you doing, Wolfie? We'll see about that. But yeah, I obviously that is definitely something we want to watch. It's not going to be as dramatic, I don't think. I mean, it's going to be dramatic for planetary scientists and those of us interested in NASA science and space exploration, but not as dramatic as, say, the Curiosity landing, where it's like a yes, no, succeed, fail type of land or crash situation, and you have a kind of a countdown. It's going to be more, as a flyby, it's just going to be more waiting for images. We know it's going to fly by. There's a slight concern it might run into something, because as we get closer and closer and we start to study Pluto and its neighboring objects, there's more and more little things showing up that are orbiting around, co-orbiting, or in kind of a dual orbits, all these little objects, and they're like, ooh, we don't want to like find one out by having New Horizons smack into the side of it. Unlikely, but still a possibility. But it's going to be more just kind of waiting for the images and data to come back, I suppose, which is still going to be exciting. Maybe. We'll see. It depends on when it happens, I guess. But, hey, there's a dwarf planet. It's the moon. Let's go to sleep. And, sleepness. And asleepness. And awakeness, I mean. Oh, it's gonna hurt. Dang, what's wrong with me? Moo to you too, sir. Moo to you too. I need to shoot a skeleton. Oh, get wrecked. Get messed up. Oh, well, I guess that was we came out even there. We shot an arrow and gained an arrow. So yeah, we'll see. We got plenty of time to think about that. What else are we looking at? Hermione asks, what is the longest time you've gone without sleep? And what was the reason for it? How does sleep deprivation affect you in general? Trying to think. In college, there was a time when I had, a lot of people think like art students, that's like the easy major. It is, but no, like they don't work as hard or study or whatever. Go to the art wing or the art building in your college at like 2 a.m. There's going to be studios with lights on and students working in there making the art or drawing or painting or doing whatever late at night. Because the majority of their day is taken up by being in classes. The only time they have actually to dedicate to working on art or sculpture or whatever is at night. So yeah, I did pull an all-nighter in college once to finish an art project. That was no fun. That wasn't no fun at all. So there's that. I've pulled a few all-nighters with astronomy, going out to the dark sites with the astronomy club. People ask if I ever have gone out camping. I'm like, well, no, but I've gone to I've been away. I don't nap or anything beforehand. where you get out to the dark site around sunset. Usually in the summer. If you were going to go in the winter, you would freeze to death. You know, you get out there 9 o'clock, 8, 9 o'clock, and stay until the sun rises, 4 a.m. or something like that. Then get home and try to sleep. So that's a particularly late night, but usually do all right with that. I didn't sleep very well. I don't sleep on airplanes, and Minecon Paris, the flight there was an overnight flight where I was on the same flight as BOO and Generic B and Justra, and Pause was with us as well. And whatever, we left at night, but didn't arrive till like 6 a.m. Paris time. Just can't sleep on planes at all. Slept probably like, you know, did the little nodded out a few times. But you know, that first day was really rough on old KurtJMac. So there was that. But yeah, I can't really think of any, like, I've gone 3 days without sleep. You know, I don't really, sleep deprivation just makes me sad and headachy and makes me feel sick to my stomach, kind of, which is how I felt in Paris. Although I think I was glutenified as well, but yeah, I can't say I make a habit of that sort of thing, so it's an interesting question. My voice. Let's see. Here we go. Speaking of cars from the last episode, I had a few questions regarding what I think about Tesla, the Tesla cars. This one in particular, Ethnicolor asks, all electric cars, would you sacrifice speed, range, performance, and pay more out of pocket to take home an electric car versus internal combustion engine? Well, I don't think it's obviously ready for prime time because the cost is really up there. But yeah, I mean, I would, if they were more affordable, I would definitely think of getting a Tesla or something like that. Obviously, what's the next one? Model. What they're considering, or they're going to start working on, or they've broken the ground in Nevada, where they're going to make their batteries. Because right now the batteries are made overseas, which is why it's kind of an expensive thing. So now they're going to be building them here in Nevada, and those ones are going to go into their kind of cheaper car. That's going to be about like 40 grand. Cheaper, not cheap, but I forgot. They call it like the model. They were going to call it like the Model A or something like that, but Ford got you know, all angry about that, so now they're going to call it something else. I don't remember. But yeah, that would seem interesting, especially for, you know, just driving around. I rarely drive more than 30 miles, and, you know, all these Teslas get, you know, and more electric cars can get much more range than that now, and certainly in the future with better batteries, they'll get even better. But I could especially see it being good for city dwellers. Woo! I'm going to be breaking my legs this episode. City dwellers, obviously, who don't drive long distances regularly, who can plug in overnight every day, would not worry about it. So yeah, I mean, sure, electricity is better, say, than burning gasoline, but you still have to consider where electricity comes from. The majority of it, anyway. There's obviously a lot of the coal plants, but we're slowly transitioning to more solar, wind, and one of the major ones is nuclear. It's pronounced nuclear power, which personally I think is better than coal, burning coal and stuff like that. Obviously, it has its negative connotations, and there is still issues with what the disposal of the after leftovers and waste and stuff like that. But as far as efficiency and cleanliness, I suppose. Well, nah, maybe not. I don't know. I'm just gonna stop talking. To the comments. Somebody is wrong or has a different opinion than me on the internet. I must declare their wrongness. So yeah, there's. Ooh, that was a weird way I just got in that boat. Ooh, crazy. Does my voice sound really weird today? Feels scratchy. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, I would consider it, but I would maybe, if I was, swimming in the dough, I would probably then still own a secondary, perhaps for either sport or long travel or fun, like an antique car or something. I'd still own a gas-powered car. It's once again, we have the internal struggle of the YouTuber. We also have the internal struggle of the automotive hobbyist enthusiast between conservation and fun and hobbies and the enjoyment of the open road and whatnot. Internal struggle. Woo! A big jump. Big jump. Woof. Let's see if I can find another thing here to answer. Talked about the Pluto and the New Horizons. Rubik's Cube. EMC73. Have you ever done or thought about doing extreme sports? Extreme with an X. And an E, but extreme. Skydiving, scuba diving, snowboarding. I think the most extreme sport I've actually done is, I don't think it's an extreme sport, but you go on holiday, on a vacation and wherever, and you do zip lining. Woo! But probably what I would consider an extreme sport would be, we did the whitewater rafting there in Oregon, or however you say it. That was fun. I could see getting into something like that, or even a little bit more of a solo activity would be the kayaking, river kayaking. Depending on the river, I'm sure it could be declared an extreme sport. Not a huge fan. I would not do bungee jumping. That doesn't seem fun at all. Skydiving. It's kind of like, yeah, okay. I like my interest in airplanes and flight is with that one, but then there's also, check that out. It's pretty awesome. But then there's also the why am I jumping out of this perfectly good airplane scenario with that. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not much for the temporary thrills. Is auto racing an extreme sport? Would you consider? Because I would like to do auto racing. I could see rally off-road rally car racing is definitely an extreme sport. So that I suppose, but not. I'm not into. What were your suggestions or options? Scuba diving. Scuba diving seems cool. I'm just terrified of the deep, deep ocean. It's. I do not like not knowing what's around me or below me. Woof. Have a seat. Well done. Boop. So, yeah, I mean, I see like scuba divers, and it's like, oh, that's so awesome. Look, it's like they're it's kind of like flying or being in space, floating, not bound by the powers of gravity. But then again, I'm like, gosh, that's terrifying. That is very terrifying. Also, breathing through a tube might not be high up on my list of things to do. Since I can't breathe right now, good gravy. What is... I apologize. Both for the fact that this is a Tuesday episode, but also the quality of my voice. Phew, hopefully, maybe there's something in... Is there something in Audacity and post-processing? Oh, dang. I hope this is a safe place to sleep. Remove scratchy gargle voice. Is there a filter for that? Oh, man. Indeed. But anyway, thank you all of my patrons for all those questions. And of course, obviously, for supporting and allowing Far Lands of Us to be commercial free here on the YouTubes for everybody. And of course, And more importantly, for people who donate to Child's Play charity at farlandserbust.com, your guys' questions are important as well. And yeah, maybe we'll work on... I'll plan on doing another episode tomorrow. I still got a bunch of questions here, so we're not going to run out of things to talk about. Did Wolfie just make like a weird noise? No, okay. What was that? Oh, I hear a skeleton outside. Oh, Lord. Hopefully that doesn't cause issues, but... and flowing water. But yeah, we'll work on maybe a Wednesday episode, and I really would like to try, no promises, but I'd like to try live streaming on Thursday. Trying to get back into the weekly live streams. So maybe we can do that. Hopefully, let's. I'm not giving a perfect yes or no or a specific time, but yeah, let's maybe try live streaming. See if we can get up to that. Gosh, if my voice is of any indication, I'm not going to be able to last more than 35 minutes. Ladies, no. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I apologize. Family show. Yeah, thank you so much for watching and dealing with my raspy voice. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time. To the comments.